Hello, how's everybody doing? I told you I would be back. I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it because it was like so much information. Okay. Um. Yeah, I found out about. Okay, so this one is gonna be on. Serena Williams, the tennis player. I'm sorry, and also, okay, my uncle. Um, he was I mean, he wasn't a Jehovah Witness, and then like after after everything, I guess when he finished his everything in his life, he decided to become a Jehovah's Witness. So anyway, we have to talk. We really do. And then I was going to mention the parable, which I went over. I read the one in the Jehovah's Witness book, which was, was this. I'm not going to even say. But anyway, I didn't want to, but, I felt I had to. Since we're talking about, the Jehovah Witnesses. But I read let me tell you which version I read as far as the Bible, the parable is concerned. Now I'm just like doing an introduction, but it's a lot. Okay, so it was called, let me put this over here. New International Version. Okay, so I did that's the Bible I read. Okay, as far as the parable is concerned. Okay, so now let's get into Selena Williams. There's one thing I want to make a point on. When you learn something, sometimes you don't. Everything is not like, oh, I got it, or you put the pieces together, or it's like a puzzle. Sometimes you have to ponder things, and sometimes you just have to take the information and let it process. This is gonna be something like that. You're really gonna have to process the information, okay? But first we have to organize it. Now there's some people's YouTube that I'm going to use, so I'm going to put it down once I finish this and I upload this video. I'm going to post. I'm going to post the reference of where you can find the two YouTubes that I'm going to use. Okay, so should I get right into the okay? As far as Selena Williams, okay, there was a YouTube. I didn't have to research because now I remember where I got it from. It was a suggestion that was, I'm almost sure that was given to me, a person who does YouTubes, and I saw his YouTubes. And yeah, because that's why it jumped up, his YouTube jumped on my, my homepage as far as YouTube is concerned. So I saw about Serena Williams. And I was like really, really kind of in shock. But I've heard that she always said that she wanted to, that she wanted to get baptized. Okay, I heard that. But now I'm not judging or anything. I'm not going to say anything negative or anything. I really like Serena. I mean, I always liked her tennis playing. And I never, discounted her just because she was a Jehovah's Witness, or she said she was a Jehovah's Witness. But I know she wasn't baptized. But just look, I want to talk about her. She's a celebrity. I want to talk about her life that she lived. She pretty much did everything she wanted to do. Okay. Sad to say, which is I heard from the YouTube that I'm going to post, she did pretty much things that most people, but she wasn't baptized. So that's a big deal as far as being a Jehovah's Witness. You can pretty much do what you want to, I guess. So I guess that's what allowed her to do whatever she wanted to do. So that means that she knew that she could do whatever she wanted to do because she wasn't baptized, okay? Excuse me, I'm sorry. That kind of brings up that's what triggered my prodigal son thing, okay? but we're not going to get into that yet. So she pretty much did everything that she could do. I mean, if she was baptized, most likely she would be just fellowshipped. I mean, if she, according to everything that we know as ex-Jehovah Witnesses, which is true. So there's another point I want to make about her. I saw several times when she says, I want to thank Jehovah God, okay? And I was thinking about the feeling that it was said, the way she said it, and the sound of it. I'm sorry, that's why I have to go by. And the heartfelt, it's just another person. It's just the way she says it, and I've heard her say it several times. But it's not, what we say God is, okay? So that's one thing I want to say. But she did it even though she wasn't baptized. So they allowed her to do that, to say that. So that was strange. So now I gave the points about Selena, okay? There's some other ones. Like I said, she did whatever she wanted to do. And then she decides to get baptized. From the YouTube that I saw, it was like a slap in the face or whatever. That's what kind of like he said. But he said she lived her dream because of her father. So you have to see a reason behind it. And the only thing that baffles me is the fact that she's like intelligent. I mean, to play the tennis the way she played it and to places that she went, her husband is very highly intelligent, and yet this person gets baptized as a Jehovah Witness. That baffles me. And that's what I'm going to leave at that. And this is how I figure things out. I don't really, a lot of times you don't have to discount things. You could just look at the whole picture. Okay, so that's why we're making this YouTube, is to see the whole picture. Now, I spoke about Serena Williams. I might go back to her. Now, my uncle, he wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. I really liked him. He was very quiet. But the aunt that was my aunt is from my mother's side. She's my aunt, and that's why he's my uncle, because it was my full aunt. He was married to my aunt, so that makes him my uncle. I loved her. She was just so much fun, okay? And they had a very nice family because he supported them, as far as financially. They always had a nice house. They always were very happy, very content. But pretty much at the end of his life, he decided to get baptized. And my brother said, because my brother knew him very well because he was older, and my brother said that, he did everything he wanted to do and then he gets baptized, okay? Sort of like there's a lot of ex-Jehovah Witnesses I know who it made me feel like so big deal, you know what I mean? But they still have this thing as if, I don't know if they realize it, but they still have this thing saying that like it's some kind of true religion. I don't know. I've just seen it sometimes with people, but I don't think it's really noticeable. I may have done things like that until I separated everything. So that made me stronger because now I got it filtered out. I know where it's at. So that's why I can understand why he made the comment. Like he said, yeah, he did everything and then he gets baptized, everything he wanted to do. So if you can catch that hair kind of molecule of information, what I'm trying to say, they're saying as if, excuse me, as if it's some kind of, if saying, like, if I said, oh yeah, he did everything that he wanted to do, and then he gets baptized, okay? So I don't know if anybody else can see it, but there's something there, okay? He did everything he wanted to do, and then he gets baptized. But we're talking about Jehovah's Witnesses, okay? Because it's not really a religion. I mean, it's not, they don't even follow God's principles in how he wants us to live our life. But that's where I'm glad that I came up with the division, like I'm saying this right here, because I can't make that statement. You know what? When I told you, let me do it. These how this thing is. I mean, like, this conversation is very intricate, okay? But we're at that stage now to where we can handle it, okay? So I hope everybody tries to follow me. And if you can't, don't worry about it. But I know you'll get it later on. So because I have this, and I told you about this. This is, you know, where I made the differentiate. How can I say it? When I differentiate, how can I say it? When I just use a regular word. When I separated out the Jehovah's Witness concepts and thinking the thoughts, or I can't say thoughts, I can say just the structure, and I put it in here, okay? So because of that, it's very easy now for me to say to myself, I can't make that statement. I can't say that he finished everything that he wanted to do and then he got baptized, okay? The reason why I can't say that statement, because I don't believe in their religion, okay? I don't believe in what they're doing. So to me, because I have this right here, and I hope everybody who's seen the video know what I'm talking about. Because I have this right here, I developed to a certain point to where I can't say that, and I know it's not a proper statement for me as an ex-jehovah witness, okay? And that's where some of the confusion is still there for a lot of people, because they can't speak about it. But now I can speak about it because I have the separation. So when I was talking about Selena, and I was saying she did all those things, and then she decided to get baptized, now I can go into the Jehovah's Witness mind structure. Okay, now I'm into the Jehovah's Witness mind structure, and now I can say that 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 they would be happy and see that that she is now a Jehovah's Witness. So they might feel or rejoice over the fact that, you know, now she's baptized, okay? I mean, but that's using Jehovah's Witness point of view, okay? Now I'm coming out of the Jehovah's Witness point of view. So I finished Selena, and I finished my uncle, okay? So now you just have a picture of everything. I'm not drawing any conclusions. I don't know if I'll finish drawing conclusions, but you'll see what I'm getting at, okay? So now the parable, okay, of the prodigal son. Now the parable of the prodigal son. First, it took me a while to figure out what in the world I'm going to say about this parable. Is this something new? You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I don't even like my hair. I'm sorry, I'm always doing that. It's just, I'm sorry. Everybody always tells me that it's ugly. But, am I actually not looking at myself? But when I look at my hair, it just distracts me sometimes. I mean, I know I'm talking to you, but I'm not like, sometimes like, just like, can I get a haircut? I gotta get a haircut though anyway. But anyway, so now, the parable, like I said, I got it out of the new. Now, this is a separate thing. This is another way of bringing in knowledge in. I talked about Selena. I didn't make any, judgments or anything, and I showed you that. And then I showed you my uncle. I didn't make any, judgments or anything. I just told you what happened. And then I spoke about it as in a Jehovah Witness mind structure. Okay? So now I'm going to read. Now we're in the parable. So I'm at the third subject, actually. Okay? Of what this YouTube is about. I mean, we come this way. Please bear with me. I mean, I know you know now the way my thinking is. And I try to get people to see things in a different light, So anyway, so now we're going to get to the parable. The New World, I got the New International Version, okay? And this is why Jesus gave the parable. Remember, it's a parable. It's a story. It's an interesting thing about something that was really happening. I don't think that the parable was, he just gave the parable for a reason. And then he gave 3 different parables about 3 different things to get people to understand what he was doing. And the first one was about a coin, losing the coin. And then a lady finds it and she rejoices. And then the second one was like a sheep, one of the sheep were missing, and the shepherd found him, and he rejoiced over that, and he called his friends. And then the other one was about a son, a prodigal son, a son who wasted his money and then came back, and the father rejoiced because he came back. He was lost and now he's found. Okay. So, why did he give those parables? First, I was thinking there's something else there, and there is something else there. But then I said to myself, well, why did he do that? Why did he give those parables? I know there had to be a reason. So I went to the first part of Luke 15, I think it was, okay? I'm almost sure. I didn't put down Luke, but I know it was in Luke 15. And I wanted to know why he gave the parables. So here's the reason why. Now the tax collectors and the sinners were all gathering around to hear Jesus. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." Okay, so that's what happened. And then Jesus tells them this. He tells them a story or a parable. Then he says this. He goes, "I tell you that in the same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent." Okay? Now, just that, when I looked at that, I can see right now that I can see so many things. But how can I put this? First of all, one point I want to make, that the Jehovah Witness religion is totally irrelevant because they can't fit. There's certain things that they don't fit into as far as the Bible is concerned. Like, for instance, when you have a religion or when you're doing things like any kind of religion, you fit somewhere. I mean, just fit, like your understanding and everything. But I can't relate this to them because, first of all, if Jesus was a Jehovah Witness, they would disfellowship him because they would be, the Jehovah Witnesses would be the teachers and the Pharisees, or the ones that's asking him, why is he with these people? So that makes right there their religion, or whatever they call it, irrelevant. Okay, it doesn't fit at all. It just doesn't fit, which is their own world. So that's another thing. That's just one point that I want to bring out. So now, just going back to the parable, I was thinking that there's something there. It's something that, because when Jesus spoke, he spoke to all kinds of people, everybody. I'm not talking about as far as different kinds of people. I'm saying it's people in different mindsets. You know what I mean? Like disciples, or some disciples were listening at the same time. People who didn't even know who he was would listen to him. Like, for instance, the sinners, okay? So all these people would talk to him. So why would he? So what I was saying is that there's something else there for those people, like, who are trying to find more information, okay? So I can see that it's there. Not going to say I'm going to answer it today, okay? Because I think this video is just to show you a picture of something. Mm-hmm. Now, here goes. I tell you that in the same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. So it's like there's something there. The reason why I can say there's something there, because also the parable of the there's something that makes, how can I say, make me feel uncomfortable? Not uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable. There's something for people like who are, digging, I guess, for more information, for more understanding, which is not wrong, I don't think. I don't know, it's not wrong. So then I went to the parable. The one about the coin was easy to understand. The one about the sheep was easy to understand. And then he told the parable about the prodigal son. And to be honest, and I'm very honest with you, I never liked the parable. Not that I didn't like the parable, but I didn't like the son. I didn't like the son who took the money and then he squandered it. And Jesus was very smart because he made sure he told you about the son. Not only did he squander the money, but he wasn't really a nice person, because he planned, he wasn't poor and saying, okay, first of all, he wasn't rich. When he was rich and spending his money, he didn't say how in the world, I miss my family, I miss my father. No. And then when he got poor and there was a famine, he didn't say, well, I'm going to go back to my father. I'm stupid, He didn't say that, but he was more of a how can I say? He was more, not a scam. It was more I guess it was the truth. The truth of the way a person would be. because he was like in the fields and he goes, my father has, but he didn't think about his father. The only thing he thought about was, he goes, why am I here? I mean, my father's servants make more money than than I'm doing here. Why don't I go back to my father? Why don't I go back? He even thought about this. First he thought about the comfort, then he thought about the, what do you call it? Then he thought about, like, the father's servants. And then he goes, why don't I go back there and I could be one of the servants, you know? So those are the things that I didn't like the guy. You know, I didn't particularly care for him. And then he made up a story of what he was going to say. I guess it's human nature if you do that, okay? But I'm sure Jesus knew that the guy was not really a nice person, because Jesus set you up. He set you up, first of all, because he knows we're gonna be here talking about it too. So he didn't do it for just one minor reason. So like I said, he said one about a coin, and then the second one was about the sheep, and then he threw this prodigal son on you. Not only did he throw it on you, he made this person, I guess he would call him a sinner, okay? Yeah, he would be more like a sinner. But he put it to where he came back, and he wasn't really, it doesn't seem like he was repentant. I mean, you know what I mean? By his words, because he went in depth over this lost son. I mean, he detailed his personality as if it wasn't really a nice person, and still wasn't. And when he came back with the story, just, you know, but not, he didn't come back to see his father. You know what I mean? He didn't come back because he missed his father or his family, okay? So Jesus knew what he was doing. So that's why I'm saying there's something there. But I know how intelligence goes and knowledge goes. You can't just make an opinion about it yet. So most likely there's going to be another YouTube about this, because I can see clearly. The more I talk about it, the more I can see. And another thing, I never felt comfortable with it. The funny thing is, I always felt like the son that stayed, you know, like the older son that stayed. I always felt for him, always felt like him, you know what I mean? And like the righteous people, when he says, okay, I tell you that in that same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven. And like when I hear that, I see myself as rejoicing. I mean, how can I? That one's hard. Okay, I'm not going to go there yet. First, I'm going to continually talk about this prodigal son, because it's so popular, and I know that God knew that it would be very popular. So we're going to end it there. Sorry. This one we're going to go over it because it's still processed. I want you all to process that information, and we're going to develop this for the next time. And then it might join together. But there's one more thing I want to say before we close, okay? The parable, putting back in the mindset of the Jehovah's Witness, there's two parables, because they have a different Bible. It's not our Bible. It's not a Bible. Even I call this my Bible. The one I just read, I even call this my Bible. New International Version, okay? Because I know they follow rules. They have to follow rules, okay? Excuse me. I'm sorry. It's just, I really hate that. Um, oh, my dear Lord, when you get old. But I'm doing good. I want to be better. So anyway, so now let me see something else. Okay, so there's two parables. We have to cope with this, okay? So when we talk about, you just got to get used to the fact that when you talk about things, because they made a whole new structure for the whole for what their book is as the Bible, we have to not mix it together. So they have their parable with the scriptures, and then we have the same pair. We have maybe I'm not going to say it's the same yet, but we have a parable also. The reason why I can't mix their parable because of their beliefs and because they changed the Bible and they call their scriptures book Bible. So I can't mix both of them. The only way I could do to keep everything sane and in place is to say they have a parable and we have a parable. I just know it's important to say that. Okay? So to talk about the parable, how they feel about the parable, I would have to go into their world, their underworld. But I'm not going into their underworld. I just want you to know that when I talk about the parable, where I'm at when I talk about the parable. If I'm going to go here, I'll tell you, okay? But we're just talking about the parable now. But we know another one exists because we were Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay? The reason why I know it exists, there's two parables now, which is definitely one of the reasons why we're not supposed to change the Bible like they did so that we can get along together better, okay? But because it actually happened, if I talk about the parable under their structure, I can't go anywhere. I can't say this and this and this and this because theirs is just a dead structure. I just need you to understand that because as this thing processes. So we know that there's two parables, okay? There's one more thing I want to say as far as that's concerned. The other YouTube that I was telling you about. The other YouTube, I'm going to post it, but they had this, it was a, what do you call it? It was a short. And the guy was talking to two Jehovah's Witnesses who had cards. And he wanted them to see something as far as the Word. And the Word was with God. And the Word was God, okay? And he showed them with their literature that they were wrong because he went into their Greek scriptures. I don't know why he did that, but he found it. And he was right. I mean, he was right, And they went like this. You know how you are when you're Jehovah's Witness? And you don't care. I mean, it doesn't even go in. It's just, they are in here. I mean, you cannot move this right here, okay? So he was telling them something and finding out the information, but they were just like, I mean, we've already conquered that point, saying the way that we're able to speak to them, okay? There's no other way to speak to them. But even if, I mean, he was right and everybody understood, but they looked at him like, it's just like, it's not going anywhere, okay? So I'll put that point in. That's important also, okay? That's why I said, if we talk about the parable inside the Jehovah's Witnesses, we have to see it as they see it. But that one's to the side. So see if I covered everything that I wanted to do for this YouTube. Yes. Okay. So now we have to process that information. Okay. And it's like prayers and things like that. A lot of times we want our prayers to be answered, but sometimes the prayer gets answered in like months or years. You know what I mean? Like we want something and all of a sudden things shape up and stuff like that. Maybe it takes 5 years, and then after 5 years we go, wait, we're able to do this or we're able to do that. So that was the answer to our prayer, but it doesn't come in one day. You know what I mean? Even it's just the way it is. Okay. Anyway, we have to end now. Thank you very much. Oh, I hope that there's a lot of people who are not grasping, understand what I'm trying to explain here in a different way of thinking. Okay. Not trying to get all the points in one time. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day. Thanks for coming to see me again. Okay, bye-bye.